President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the immediate disengagement of Effiong Akwa as interim administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission. A statement that was issued by the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs says that Akwa was appointed interim administration of the commission for the duration of the forensic audit, which has now been concluded. President Buhari has also approved the constitution of a new management team and governing board for NDDC in line with Section 5, Subsection 2 of the NDDC Act 2000. The names of the nominees and new management team and governing board are to be transmitted to the National Assembly for approval. We are now being joined by Audu-Ohwavborua Williams, a Niger Delta development analyst. Welcome to this day, Audu-Ohwavborua Williams. Good to have you on the program. Well, you have been following this matter as a journalist and commentator over the years. What is the significance of this development? Should we take what government has said at its face value, that Effiong Akwa has completed the assignment of overseeing the audit and that now a new board will be in place? What's your take? Let's start there. Hello, Audu-Ohwavborua Williams, can you hear me?
Hello, yes. Yeah, I'm hearing you now, loud and clear.
Okay, did you hear the question that I asked?
Can you come again?
No, I just wanted your take.
No, I didn't hear it quite clear.
Okay, I wanted your take.
Please do it a little bit.
I wanted your take on this latest development at the NDDC. Effiong Akwa, having completed his tour of duty, according to the federal government, and government saying that a new team will be in place. What do you think? Do you think anything has been achieved? Do you think that the forensic audit has been done? As someone who has been monitoring that space, as a journalist, what exactly do you think we need to know?
Well, first things first, I want to say that the news of the change in NDDC was good news, because for so long, people of Niger Delta have expected a change. There have been several agitations. Several persons have actually come up. A board was created and not sworn in, and then the clamor for a new board and all of that stuff, and then all the malfeasance that actually took place within this, the period that Akwa stayed. And in truth, when you look at the provisions of that act, there isn't any such thing as sole administrator, as far as NDDC Act is concerned. So for me, the president has taken the right decision, because once a board is dissolved, the natural thing is for a director in the commission to step in for a while until a new management and the board is forwarded to National Assembly. That has been the practice. So I think what has happened is good news to Niger Deltas. It means that something good in the next future is about to happen. That is the bringing into place a new board to manage the commission.
No, you are saying that what has happened is very good, but I've seen stories in the paper saying that the president gave the directive that the most senior director should take over. And some people have said the most senior, the director that has been asked to take over by the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs is not the most senior. And that there has been some hanky-panky, in the succession to Effiong Akwa. So is that a good thing? Who is disobeying the president? Why is that so? What do you know about that?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I do not think that should have really been an issue once an interim person has been appointed. In fact, I read in the papers when, was it Sahara Reporter or so, and that, you know, one of us means that both of them, the one appointed and the one they mentioned, are both from Delta State. I think that they are good staffs in the commission. But you also know that before anybody is actually appointed or the president appoints anyone, there are bound to be background checks. It's very possible that based on their maybe attitude of competence or maybe the criteria of competence, the criteria of being able to manage the place, they may have their own soft spot. It's not entirely true that, once it is said that the most senior, because there are several, senior officers in that place, in that commission. In the past, we hear of Dr. Eyang and then one Atako. There was this wrangling that took place as well. But, like I said, they also have their own, ideas of, going about it in order to appoint somebody they deem fit or whom they think is competent to manage the place for the time being. So I do not really see any issue. But particularly at this time around that we're not talking about substantive appointment. We are simply talking about somebody to take over or to manage the place for a while until a substantive body is appointed. So I don't see why staff should even be making noise about it. If someone is appointed, then take it as such. I don't think there's anything right or wrong. They are both federal government appointees. And so the federal government has a reason for what they did. I believe they are in line. And I trust that the person they actually appointed is also somebody that could be said to be square peg in a square hole. He is eminently qualified, and I know him for quite a while. I know that for somebody who has been a director in that office of PMS without being compromised in any way, without having issues of ESCC or whatever it is, must be most marks of genuine character that should be trusted with power. So I think they may have one or two reasons why that appointment was made.
Okay, fine. I've heard you. I've heard your opinion. But the major issue here is about the forensic audit of the NDDC. So many issues in the past, so many complaints about how that particular interventionist agency has been managed. Is there any information about the forensic audit that the federal government says has been completed, and hence an interim administrator, another person, has to be appointed? What do you know about this?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the forensic audit was meant to clean up the mess. What was perceived to be, deep, issues in the commission, the forensic ought to have unraveled it. But as it turned out to be, the forensic had a timeline. It had a timeline. It was very specific, the job of the forensic audit. But after that, manipulations upon manipulations started coming in. Because even the so-called Akwa that we'll talk about was actually appointed to be there for a period. But as it turned out to be, he's been there now as a sole administrator for several months and almost running to 2 years now. So some form of abnormality now virtually took over. The forensic audit, as far as I know, was meant to correct certain grave issues around the commission, around the projects, around the supervision, around the award processes and whatever, and all of that stuff. Because so some of us who have some form of arrangement with the place, we virtually worked there some time ago, we know that the commission never owed until some of us left that place. There were issues of APG, and the commission never award projects the way they now do. They now so just award projects even when the one already awarded by the previous ones are running. And so as at the last count, what we hear in the papers was that the commission was owing over 2 trillion naira. And that signals a danger for a commission that was meant to actually go deep down to develop the Niger Delta area. It was meant to address certain injustices. It was meant to address very major infrastructural lapses in the area. But as we now see even within the regime of Akwa, what we hear is all manner of awards of desilting and throwing money to the river. What is desilting? To the average Niger Delta, go to the street. Whether there is any advantage to be gained by desilting for what? When you have major roads, unpassable roads, in fact, communities don't have water, nothing is there. Then they carefully diverted this, the core objective of the commission to the mere fact of desilting, all to assemble money. So for me, and to a lot of Niger Delta people, we think that this is the right step to take. And I believe very strongly that with this, it means that with the arrival of a new board, this whole this that was, what's it called now, you mentioned, I'm trying to put it together, will obviously be attended to. Because a lot of jobs, a lot of contracts have been abandoned, several contractors have not been paid. In fact, most of the major contractors, as far as I know, as of today, no longer visit the commission. It is now, even when you do your job, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, no payment. Several dies, and they didn't even get their money. So I think that the forensic audit, as concluded by the federal government, will be released to the new board for implementation. I think that is the way it should be.
Well,
I think that's the way it should be.
No, I think many of us...
appointing, yeah.
I think many of us would like to know the details of that forensic audit, what the outcomes are. But as someone who has been watching that space, what do you think are the major priorities going forward? What should be the major priorities going forward?
Yeah, right now, the major priority is setting the agenda right. And that is that following the act, setting up the commission. First things first, appointing the board to govern the commission. Because it is the board that have the right to do what is necessary. Remember, when this board was put in place, it was meant to address specifics, the lapses in the entire regional development. Several communities that produce oil today are sidelined. They don't even know what NDDC represents anymore. As we speak, before now, NDDC was somewhat a baby of the entire Niger Delta people, because almost everybody believed that one way or the other, their needs will be met. But after a while, they completely deviated from the track set by the act. And so, going forward is the constitution of the board that is the major primary thing. Once that is done, the nitty-gritty as to what they need to do to bring about how the place can effectively function will come on board. That is what I think should happen. Because I can tell you, several things are wrong already. Because even within the staff, from the information we gather within the staff, a lot of them just go to the office, no job to do, because several of them have just been employed. They don't even have a desk to sit. And so, as you can see, from the appointment of Engineer Audu, a lot of, in fact, the kind of jubilation I saw in the papers and whatever, I was even very surprised. It means that they have been so deeply depressed by what was happening in that place. So I think that they need to consult the board as urgent as possible, and then various communities, various stakeholders are brought on board. That commission have a regional master plan that a lot of money was spent on to bring about. And I think that the incoming board will go into that document and begin to allot projects to the various communities. that produces oil in that region. And not the silting that we hear about that we use to just siphon money. And then, in fact, it was bad news for so long. The Niger Delta people were just heavily marginalized, deeply. I don't know what to classify. I don't know how to classify it. But I think that they were bewildered. They were wondering what was happening, because this is not the kind of Niger Delta, development commission we have in the past. When the man who brought it about, our former president Olusegun Obasanjo, the commission was so vibrant, and the issue of corruption was minimal. The issue of staff behavior was also not there. So things were just running. And several programs that touches the life of the average Nigerian were on ground. But today we no longer see them. We have free medical services. We have a lot of other programs that were being dished out to touch the youth, to touch the average women, even those who were sick. But today, all have been brushed aside in the name of disability. So I think that the board is the core. Once the board comes in, then this whole thing will begin to fall into shape.
Audu-Ohwavborua Williams, as we go now, do you sincerely believe that the issue is about having a board, or that the NDDC itself has not met the objectives or the expectations of the people? You will recall that Effiong Akwa, in the course of the week, in the face of the floods, the progressive Ijo youths, they came forward and they said, look, even this interim administrator does not go to work. He's a truant. They called for his removal before the president removed him. Before then, there were issues with Ponde, who even went to the National Assembly and he was playing possum when he was being asked questions. Is it really about the board or the fact that the NDDC, is not really meeting the objectives? What should be done, in your opinion?
Yeah, thanks very much. You see, let me say this. If you look at the first two balls of that commission, the objectives were met. Projects were commissioned by the president almost on a quarterly basis. President Olusegun Obasanjo was commissioning projects from one state to the other. It means at that time, the priorities were set and were actually met. But soon after those earlier balls were dissolved, a new one comes in, and then interim that started coming in. With due respect to whoever was there, Ponde or Akwa. I mean, you can see the perfidy. Why would they not go to work? They won't go to work because the threat from the contractors they are owing. The contractors who did their jobs a year or two ago are not paid. And so, many of them will come to the commission to harass them. Not just that, they will set aside the jobs that have been completed for new ones. New jobs that are awarded today are given priority. And please, let me take you back a little bit. When a board comes in, this is the way the commission runs, because I have some knowledge about it. That commission runs on the basis of oil production, even in terms of project allocation to states, in terms of even trying to rearrange so that even the finance to projects are properly mapped out in such a way, in such that no state can complain. But as you can see, most of the states today are outside it. They don't even know what's going on anymore in that place, because you pull a sole administrator there who could not be reached by those who own that commission. You don't need to have a sole administrator who will run from his duties, Because when you are there, you are supposed to be interfacing for the government. Because the government created the commission to be able to reach the very remotest village in Niger Delta. So as the MD or the chairman or whoever you call yourself in the commission, you are supposed to be a servant of the people. You are supposed to be on ground for them to bring their complaints and then to be attended to. That's why the commission was created. So for me, I still genuinely believe that if the president appoints competent persons to that board, you will see a renewed NDDC. They are towards implementing the original idea behind the creation of that commission. That is that developing the Niger Delta as a whole. When we were there were issues. Few issues I can tell you. The man I work with, I remember he was summoned to the villa to answer a simple, little petition from a particular village where an oil major operates. What was then the complaint? The complaint was that the community themselves who produce that are where a major community, I can say, I belong where that where Shell have or some oil wells and so on, had not received a single project. And so they complained. You remember, the funding of the commission is by the multinationals. So one of the objectives is to allow the communities have something to do with respect of projects so that they can allow the oil majors to operate in their domain. So when that wasn't happening, they have to write a petition. And that issue was addressed immediately. As you can see, Akwa will not be in office. Or whoever you appoint today, would, if he does not go to office, who will they complain to? So the restiveness might just continue. It is by the grace of God that the restiveness has not moved up. In our time there, the restiveness was at its peak. But we were able to bring it down because the competence of those who were on the board, who were ready to serve, and who were ready to do what it takes to bring the agitation down. And that is that embarking on projects that will be physically seen and things that the communities will also be part of. Not you staying in Abuja and throwing projects on the commission. There were many issues. So I still think everything still boiled down to having a board that are really clear enough as to the reason why they are being appointed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Not the chop and quench here.
Okay, thank you very much, Audu-Ohwavborua Williams, for joining us on this live.